Hi, my name is Sander Dales, CEO of Shore Teams. Today I'll have an interview with the founder and CEO of Indus Net, Mr. Abhishek Rungta. Indus Net, based in India, the UK, the USA, and Singapore, has a remarkable client base, with clients such as Uber, MasterCard, Unilever, LG, and many more. During this interview, we'd like you to get acquainted with Mr. Rungta and IndusNet, and I'll ask him to give some wonderful insights about working with an offshore development team. Hi, Abhishek. Thanks for being with us today, and it's great to have you here. Let's kick off with the first question. Maybe you can tell me the story of IndusNet.
Thank you, Sander, for having me here. So Indus Net was started by myself in 1997, almost 23 years back, when I was in college. And initially, I started it to make some pocket money out of college because everybody wants more and more pocket money. But eventually, over last 23 years, it actually became an organization with 750 people and clients all over the world, including large insurance companies, banks, pharmaceutical companies, retail organizations, as well as lots of agencies. And this has happened because somewhere there was a deep passion for technology, there was a deep passion for internet. And I saw internet in my life for the first time in 2016, which was
Yeah,
just a year before I started IndusNet. And I found it totally fascinating because it connects the world. And I thought that the entire mission of my life has to connect people and connect businesses and connect different things. And eventually, when in today's world we find that we are even connecting devices.
yeah.
So it was a kind of natural progression, and I enjoyed this whole journey. And we have moved on. There is a lot of story that has been written about IndusNet because we stand out as the largest technology provider in Eastern India. And we have a journey which people take inspiration from. They learn from what we have done, the mistakes we have done, the successes we have achieved, the
Yeah.
methodologies that we follow. And we continue to set new benchmarks. We continue to even guide our competitors in this region and teach them how to do things in the right way. And that has been our hallmark, community level growth of the organization. And we feel and we strongly believe that we grow when our community grows.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. I mean, you have over 700 people, 750 people working for you now. So it's quite an achievement, of course, in the past years. And I think many can understand that that you are, I would say, someone to follow and someone who is leading the pack. Can you? I mean, this started somewhere for you. I mean, wanting to connect people, for example, which is a great mission, I believe. Uh, can you tell me a bit about your background? I mean, of course, you decided to make some pocket money, but how did you came to start with something like IndusNet and your personal background?
Yeah, so again, as I said, when I came to experience internet in 2016 for the first time, it was kind of love at first sight, and I started exploring it more and more, and I wanted to do something on it. So I actually went to get a job in the first instance, but I was rejected for the job because I knew how to do animation, but I didn't know how to make HTML pages in those days.
Yeah,
And then I that possibly the key to the job is learning how to do HTML pages. So I learned it, and by the time I went back to the same company for taking a job in HTML pages, that job was gone to someone else. So I said, okay, let me start and let me try on my own. And the first thing that I tried was that making a website. When I went to sell website design to someone, the biggest challenge was they didn't know how to host the website, and they started asking me questions around that. And they started asking how will people find me. So I started learning about domain names. I started learning about hosting. And that was actually the first pivot of IndusNet, where we actually started selling with hosting and domain names in the first couple of years. And then
yeah,
we learned more about design and we applied web design. From web design, our customers demanded development and we did development. They demanded e-commerce. They demanded online applications. So the company's entire growth cycle of last 23 years can be summarized as 4 or 5 major pivots, in which all of them were driven by our customer demands. Because the one thing that I think we did pretty well, without coming from a management background, was listening to our customers very very intently, understand what they really need, and how can we be of help to them instead of just selling blindly.
yeah.
And they actually drove our organization from where it was a very very small organization, housed in my bedroom actually, to an organization which is right now spread all across India as well as all across the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's an amazing story. Okay, so I mean, in these years, you have had, the I would say the privilege to work with some amazing clients, right? Some globally well-known clients. What is your secret sauce? I mean, what are the three maybe leadership principles that you have discovered and that you execute and that you have contributed that contributed to your success?
See, I think being a technology service company, the first thing that is most important, which has been fundamental to us, has been that we deliver. Because at the end of the day, you can make tall claims and you can bring beautiful differentiators, but at the end of the day, what really matters is that clients want you to deliver the project, right? And we have been doing that consistently. I'm not saying that we have never deviated from timelines or the budget, but yes, at the end of the day, we own it up and we deliver. A lot of times, when things go out of control, people tend to pass on blame and get out of that situation. We are not one of those companies. We always get in our skin in the game, and we work through the whole process, right? Nice, not so nice, or great doesn't matter. But yeah, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, we go out and finish the project. Second thing is flexibility. We feel that this world is, this world has too much complexity because of the bureaucracies that every company or every other interaction has inbuilt. And we don't want to add on to the complexity to our clients. So we are one of the most flexible organizations. So we adapt to the client's overall working style. So if a client uses a certain set of tools, we will adapt to it. If a client uses a certain methodology and they want us to adapt to it, we will adapt to it. Right. And
yeah,
that has been the cornerstone of our success, because a lot of times we have found that clients are so pissed off with companies who are great companies to know, but unfortunately, they themselves are a difficult organization to deal with. Right. There are multiple layers of approvals for every small thing. So in
yeah,
our organization, to make sure that it is flexible, even the last person in the organization, the grassroots level guy in the organization is empowered to take
yeah,
decisions and to
yeah,
ensure that he delivers what he's supposed to deliver, instead of citing reasons and citing excuses
yeah,
for not doing certain things.
yeah.
The
Don't make excuses.
Don't make excuses, right? Absolutely. And the third thing that we are very, very sure of is we have a culture of no entitlements. Because I think in this world, everybody after getting some experience or getting some business, right, they all start feeling entitled. And it's natural. And I'm not blaming anyone. But it's all very natural that, with time you say that, I have 10 years of experience, so I am great. I have 20 years experience, so I should not do anything which is less than a vice president role. In
Yeah,
IndusNet, it's all about what is your caliber. If your caliber is of a vice president, you are just 5 years experience, you will become a vice president. So that kind of a culture is very difficult to build, because at times a junior guy can actually become boss of his boss in a very
yeah,
short span of. And second is that also as a company, we do not believe in entitlement as an organization as well. This means that if we have done a good job yesterday, it's great to show as a case study, but it is nothing beyond that. Every job
yeah,
is new, and every time we have to prove ourselves to survive in this business.
yeah,
And we enjoy doing it actually. A lot of
yeah,
times people are cribbing about doing it. Do I need to prove myself every time? I and my team, because obviously this whole culture has gone from me. We always say, okay, if we have to prove ourselves every time, then let's prove it, like, and it's fun. Let's
yeah.
prove to ourselves that we are.
Yeah, and you know that the fact that you have to prove yourself each and every time again, it also matches, of course, the fact that you deliver because
Yes.
you have to prove that you can deliver each and every time, right? So, and I
So
like I like the fact what you're saying. What you did yesterday, you can use it as a case today, but you still have to, of course, prove today that you can do it, right? Whatever task is on your path. Yeah. Okay. So,
that's right.
I think you are an example to many. Um, I would say who opened up doors for you or has been a great inspirator to you.
Okay, so again, I can compare myself with the Indian mythological character called Eklavya, because he didn't had a teacher, so he taught himself based on the learnings that were given to someone else. And
Yeah.
the reason for that again is not that I wanted to be like that. The reason for that is that we didn't had many examples in Eastern India to follow. Right,
Yeah.
we didn't had large software companies or complex technology companies in Eastern India whom I could mimic or I could learn from and I can grow. So when we started building that, obviously this was not the initial goal, but when we started building that, all the learning had to be taken from people who have done that in other locations. So to a great extent, learning was a small little bit of a hindrance for me and my team, but we have taken it to our advantage because we did a lot of things in a new way. And
Yeah.
then we figured out that okay, at the end of the day, if the objective is met, what is being met by other people through other process, okay, we are through it, right? So this way we learned and we applied, and we also learned a lot from books. We learned a lot from
Yeah.
our clients, learned a lot from experts when I went and networked. So our learning has been in this form, and and the kind of it is continuous application of the learning that has helped us. A lot of times people learn a lot, they attend a lot of webinars, they read a lot of books, but they don't apply those knowledge and those thought process in their business.
Yeah.
I think we learned less compared to others, but we applied everything that we learned.
Yeah. Execute, execution is everything in the end. You have to do it. Right? You can read a lot, but you actually have to do it, right? In order to experience it and to learn from that, and then move on. So that's interesting. Those are great insights as well for many people. So let's go back to IndusNet. I mean, what do you consider to be the biggest strength of IndusNet? You have, of course, the three items we discussed, we talked about before. But what if you look at the business itself? Why do not only I would say these large companies work with Indus Net, but many?
So see, as I said earlier, the three biggest strength of IndusNet is that we deliver. We have a culture of no entitlement, and we are flexible. However, if you see as a whole, why companies would work with us and not someone else, primarily the reason would be that we are personable, right? We build a partnership not just for the sake of saying it. In fact, there has been several instances where we have worked for equity and cash both. So it's not just we have only worked for cash and the
Yeah,
company has run out of and we have walked out of the deal. It's not like that. We have said, okay, if you cannot pay by cash right now, no problem. Pay by equity. And we have been a gainer
yeah,
in that. So we have this very strong confidence internally that if you really believe in a company's business, if you really believe in what you are doing, right, go all out, right? Go and
yeah,
partner in real sense. Don't partner just for the sake of using the word partner because it has become fashionable, right? So we actually partner in real sense and build products that actually make the client win. Second is, I think, our product philosophy, our development philosophy is also aimed to the end consumer, not just the client. Because at the end of the day, the client will be only successful if their end consumer is successful. We are
yeah,
a B2B, but our thinking process is B2B2C. Because at the end of the day, for us, we are successful when our clients are successful, and our clients are successful when their clients are successful. So we
yeah.
have to
So
think
true.
a little deeper. And it has worked for us, right? So when we create products or when we create new concepts, when we think about the end customer, at times there are heated discussions that we don't want to do this, or we want to actually add this feature where we will say you should not add this feature. But at the end of the day, we have always got great things to hear from our clients that Abhishek, thank you, you stopped me that day from going that way, and that has actually helped us. So
Yeah,
I'm not saying that we have not messed up, but yes, more often than not we have actually done great job and clients have
yeah.
been super happy.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you are right now, right? So that's as simple as it is.
85% of our business standard is from repeat clients. So we obviously go and hunt for new business, but again, it's not very, very often because 85% of revenue always comes from existing clients because they are growing, they are doing business, some of them move to maintenance contract. So their
Yeah,
monthly volumes may differ for us because during development you have to spend more, but during maintenance you have to spend a little less. But
yeah.
then some of them may initiate a new project. So this way, if 85% of our revenue comes from existing clients, I think that itself is a testimony to the kind of relationship we are able to build with them.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, and so I've said it before. You have over 750 people right now. How do you take care of so many people of your staff, and how do you create team spirit in such a large organization?
So I think, see again, taking care of so many people in a lean organization like us, our management layer is very lean. We don't have hundreds of HR taking care of 750 people, right? We have created, a culture of transparency. This means that if something is not heard, right, and something is not responded to, it moves to the next level immediately. And in our company, there are only three levels. This means that I actually get in the initial days I used to get several issues popping up on my screen because someone missed it out. And then when I understand that these are the 7, 8, or 10 people who miss out things on a regular basis, I try to mentor them, guide them, and make them understand the importance of their work. And this way we have been able to create a very lean team, but very effective team. Because the
Yeah.
more layers you add, the more complications you add, right? And we always give full autonomy to our team to work, as I said earlier also, because this autonomy gets them the flexibility, right? Because if a guy always comes and says that let me ask my superiors to get back to you on this, it's not going to work, right? And
No.
a lot of times you have to work as a team, right? So a technical guy has to work maybe with a UI guy, and the UI guy may need to work with a data analytics guy to create even one single module. Now in doing that, if they have to involve everybody's bosses to get a small job done, right? Like what happens in large IT enterprises, IT service enterprises,
Yeah.
clients never get value out of it, and a 1 month project will go into 6 months or 8 months, and there is no value in today's world if something is delayed by that kind of a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Okay, and so if you look at the remote work itself, what kind of tools do you use? What kind of tools do you recommend?
So we are on Google Suite, and our entire team uses Google Suite. We have our own ERP, which basically connects all our employees, all the projects, each and every bit of accounts. In fact, we even know which person is performing at what level at any given day. His entire history, we know the entire history of every client, every project, so that as a CEO, if anything gets escalated to me at any point of time, I just need to basically go in my ERP system that we have built for ourselves and check out.
Right.
So one thing that I learned from a very big tech giant of India called TCS, one thing I learned from them is that invest in your own technology, because that company's largest project, at least this is what the rumors are, or I have heard from other people, is their own internal system. So I said, okay, in India, Indus Net also, we should have a very strong internal system which is, at par with the best in the market. So we have invested over last 7 to 8 years. 3 to 4 people team has consistently been working on building our internal software, which
Yeah.
allows us to track each and everything and enable our team to do a lot of things. Right. So what we say is that you go and take a decision, and if we find that the decision is wrong, you just need to log the reason for that. You don't need to do anything else. And since our technology framework is so strong, we are able to track all those things. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, you will be anxious and you will not be able to allow people to do things freely because your own technology framework is insufficient. So,
Yeah.
and you will never be able to understand what happened and why it happened. And
Yeah.
that is, I think, a big strength of ours. Yeah.
I fully understand, and especially when you are, the size that you are, and if you need to stay in control and need to stay on top of it, I think that's one of the key things. It's I would say custom made, so it meets your processes in your business. So that's an interesting one as well. And what kind of I would say tooling do you think the clients should use when they communicate with you guys? Is that also the, let's say, Google Meet, for example, or is anything optional?
So we have our own project management tool, but if most of the clients, they have their own project management tools, especially the large companies have their own tools that they have purchased and they want us to work on that tool. So we do that. If they allow, we also do code versioning for them in our own system. We use GitHub in a big way. But if sometimes they say that you should not make a copy of our code, then we don't, because it all depends on the kind of confidentiality of code that they want to maintain, right? So we
Yeah.
use GitHub extensively. We use a lot of CI/CD tools. We also use Basecamp for some clients, and obviously our own tools, wherever required. But at the end of the day, since we work with the selected 70 to 100 top clients, most of them have their own set of tools that which they are comfortable in, and we adapt to it because our team has kind of become comfortable in almost all these tools,
Yeah. I can imagine.
be it Jira, be it Basecamp, be it any of these tools. Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Okay. And so if someone wants to, start with a team at IndusNet, what would be, let's say, the resources you recommend or the ideal start? How does the process go?
So I think the best thing is to basically start with some kind of a discussion where we brainstorm what they are trying to do, and to understand what level of clarity they already have about what they want to build. If they have very high level of clarity, then we can directly jump into what we call either a prototyping phase or a estimation phase where we kind of understand that how much time effort will be required to deliver it, or if it is going to be in a iterative fashion, then we start going into the prototyping phase and we start into a sprint based model. So we also do monthly pricing as well as we do sprint based pricing. So some people enjoy more a sprint based pricing because it gives you more accountability. Some people enjoy more a monthly pricing because that kind of gets into their profit and loss account as a monthly expense. So it all depends upon what companies want to do, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's very important for us to make sure that we understand and our clients understand what they want. If not, we initiate a small consulting arrangement on a time and material basis where we
Yeah.
provide our consultants who come from top quality pedigree, and they basically work with them to kind of define their requirements in depth, line by line, screen by screen, to make sure that we both understand what they want to achieve and it's going to help them.
Yeah.
And once we have achieved that, then we start giving them either an estimation or we get into our first sprint.
Yeah. Yeah. Which sounds logical as well. Yeah. Okay. So, and we've been partnering up for quite a while now. What do you think about the collaboration with Shorty?
I think Shure is a beautiful concept. I came across Shure, I think, more than a couple of years back,
Yeah.
and we have also interacted and worked together on few occasions. And I'm glad that we are partnering with Shure. Becoming part of your group of consulting companies who can go out and help companies. And I'm really excited about this whole thing because I think the whole approach that we have taken to do the right matchmaking is very unique. Like it's not just like a marketplace where someone goes and posts something and other people come and bid, and it's
Yeah.
all about the lowest bid, right? Because it never works, and I have seen that it never works because a lowest price, because the software development is not like an item on Amazon, right? Which you can simply compare. It's not like cell phone. You compare two or three cell phones and you decide which one to buy. And there are a lot
Yeah.
of intricate details about companies, about work culture, about compatibility, about approaches, about domain knowledge. Until and unless you match all those things in a proper way, right, you don't get anywhere. Right? So,
Yeah.
for example, as I told you, last time when we were discussing that IndusNet is kind of is working at the confluence of technology, marketing, and analytics. Like very few companies will be doing that at the scale that we are doing, right?
Yeah.
So if a company is looking at building a product where all these three things are required at the same time, right? I think we possibly are the best fit, right?
Yeah.
So in this way, so we can, so we are trying to specify as much as we can, but ultimately, most of the companies will never be able to clearly define how they stand out, right?
Yeah.
And that is where companies like Shore come in the picture. They
Yeah.
can understand which cultural match will happen with which company.
Yeah.
Even this interview, I think, is a step in that direction, so that you can understand, assess, and say, okay, I think IndusNet will be a good match for this partner or XY, or vice
Yeah.
versa. And I think that is very, very genuine.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what do you then think is the biggest strength? What do we add for you? I mean, next to the matchmaking.
Yeah. So again, I think you bring us an additional volume of scale. So when we say that 85% of our business comes from existing clients, we should definitely be proud of that. But every coin has two sides, right? So if 85% business is coming from new clients, this means we are not trying enough hard to get new big clients.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always look at the aspect, which pushes me hard to, to deliver more and to do more. So we are trying to now, push our growth button because we are very well settled. We have a very strong team. Everything is quite well sorted out. Being the largest IT, core IT job provider in Eastern India, we have excellent access to talent. We have great access to talent which stays because they don't have many choices in Eastern India. So people stay with us. So our attrition rate is very low, and
Yeah.
people and you need low attrition rate for high domain expertise and high commitment and maintenance contracts, right? So I think we are in a great position that way. So we are very excited about this whole thing going
Yeah.
forward.
Okay, so I think we're, thanks for the amazing words, of course, and we're as excited to work with you guys as you are with us. So that's amazing. Um, I think we're well, I would say nearing the end. I have one final question for you, which is a more maybe part of your vision. What do you think? In which direction is IT moving in, let's say, the next 5 years?
I have a thought model around it. So I think IT was initially on the hardware side. From hardware, it moved into network. From network, it moved into internet. From internet, when everything is now connected, and then we moved into internet applications. Now, from internet applications, we are having applications which will collect a lot of data and do everything. So now, eventually, internet applications will become commoditized over a period of time, and we will move into analytics because now we have to use the data to do something. 75% of the data that any company generates are never used for any kind of insights. So I think the business is gradually moving towards a more analytics and AI ML kind of a region, but it has a very clear progression that you can see. And none of these areas of the progression is going out. All of them are staying. Some of them are growing. Some of them are growing very fast, and some of them will grow very fast. So you need to understand which area will do perform in which level if you really want to make a measured guess and invest and put yourself into this game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can only say thanks for your thoughts and I would say inspiring words for many. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to moving forward with our collaboration.
Thank you, Sander. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time and this interview, and we look forward to our collaboration. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye
thank
bye.
you, thank you. Bye bye. Thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate that. Would you like us to introduce you to IndusNet or some of our other partners? Let us know in the comments or send us an email at info@shortteams.com.